says. That's right, it's over here now. Everybody ready?
Ready?
Call the meeting in order, please rise for pledge. There.
I looked over here too.
So I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I looked over here too.
We all still look over there.
Like, what? Somebody stole the flag.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Collins?
Here.
Mr. Cruz?
Here.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Here.
Mr. Schwartz?
Present.
Mr. Union?
I am here. Where's the feedback from the bag on the table?
Sounds like plumbing.
You have it playing on your computer.
Oh, it's gotta be for the internet.
Somebody needs to be muted.
It's gotta be from the internet.
Somebody has both things
There we go.
on like I used to do.
Okay, prior to the meeting, we had an executive session dealing with personnel and possible litigation. Alright, we have, need for reading glasses, that's what we need.
I got mine on.
We have two sets of minutes, November 13th and October 23rd.
Make a motion to approve the consent.
Second.
Are we talking both sets?
Sure. Yep. For me.
Okay. The motion was made by Mark, seconded by Georgianne to approve both November 13th and October 23rd as sent. Anybody have any questions, comments, changes? Roll call.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Union?
Yes, motion passes. Okay, good evening, everybody in the audience. How is everybody? I'm not asking individually, it'll take too long for you to answer. It's time for the first public comment. First public comment period is, we ask that is just for agenda items. So if you have a public comment based on the agenda, that's the first public comment. The second public comment at the end of the meeting is for whatever you want to talk about. Okay, do we have any public comment at this time?
Good evening. I'd like to thank council for giving me the opportunity to speak with you.
You need name and address. Name
My
and
name is Robert Beischer. I'm on 1275 Weaversville Road in Northampton. And I am here to just briefly talk about one of the agenda items tonight, which would be the solar farm. Now, you're probably going to hear a lot of good things from Pivot Energy in regards to some of the benefits of having a solar farm and them asking you to rezone for this purpose. I'm just going to briefly talk here for a moment about some of the disadvantages, so to help better inform you with your decisions. First and foremost, the owners of the land, Lehigh Northampton Airport Authority, they are not your friends, nor are they friends of this community. On many occasions, they have leased and sold land knowing that it will need to be rezoned in order to meet that designation. So shame on them. Now, some of the downsides to having a solar farm. Number one, it takes up an enormous amount of acreage. And it is an eyesore, frankly. Let's discuss that, because I'm not the only one going up and down Weaversville Road. So we all get used to seeing the rural character of this community. Two, the clearing or grading of land can possibly cause soil erosion and alter water runoff. Fencing and panel array fragments habitats, and it restricts wildlife movement. And I look at more of this being an industrial intrusion into this community. Also, please note that cleaning of these panels do require substantial amounts of water. And lastly, and one important thing, I think probably the most important thing that I want you guys to hear tonight. As you know, Governor Shapiro has had a strong push for data centers. And tech giants, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Cisco, they actively search out and look for solar farms because they go hand in hand with those type of facilities. They look for this. So think about what you're doing tonight, because while something may seem simple and environmentally friendly, it could open up a can of worms that could be something very bad for our community. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Good evening. My name is Robert Lalo, L-A-L-O. I live at 5495 Shenango Drive in East Allen Township, although it's a Bethel mailing address. I'm going to comment again about what he just brought up, many of those same things. But I'm the property owner, right at the end of Shenango Drive where it dead ends. I'd be directly adjacent to one of these parcels they're looking for rezoning on it. I would think it's even early to consider rezoning on this because, frankly, we don't know any details about what they want to do, what they want to build. Maybe that's going to come out today's meeting. I don't know. The other thing I worry about is if you change the zoning on that, based on the history we've had in that area with trying to get warehouses built immediately on the other side of Weaversville Road, the airport would look at that favorably. You change their zoning, why don't you change ours? Because we're going to request that for something else as they try to utilize some of that space. And the other thing I'd mention is that it is a residential community. The very idea of having the land cleared, they'll probably cut down the tree lines and stuff that I've had there since I moved in 1997. They changed the whole nature of everything, and I'll get to stare out on the morning or see the sunset looking at a bunch of shiny metal, which certainly doesn't appeal to me, and I doubt if it would appeal to most any other people on the board. So please consider those things also when you're considering their request. I thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Is there anyone online that wants to talk?
Because of the change in the live streaming, there is no Zoom going forward. It's only live streaming to YouTube. So they would have to be
somebody cannot
present.
make a comment?
No,
Oh,
They can only
are we gonna
They
fix
can
that?
do live chat.
You
but
can't.
nothing.
we can't with the live streaming that we have.
Oh. Okay, so someone has to come in to make a comment, they can't do it
Well,
online
they
anymore.
could submit it via email, or they could come in.
Okay, well, that's good to know, thank you.
Okay. Anybody have anything else on the agenda other than that topic? No? Okay. We need the checks approved from 4332 to 4359 for a total of $72,754.94.
So moved.
Motion was made by Mark, seconded by Chris. Questions? Are you holding that one?
I'm not gonna void it, but I will hold it for payment, but I don't think it's on this list. So this is the November list, I believe, up until, but I don't think that's on there.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call?
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes,
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Union?
Yes, motion passes. We have an annual update from the PA State Police. I'd like to welcome you.
you're welcome.
Well, we're getting this up. My name's Sergeant O'Truly, Pennsylvania State Police Troop at Bethlehem. Been there for about 10 years. Prior to that, I was a local officer for City of Easton Police Department for 3.5 years. All 10 years I've been at Bethlehem, besides 2 minor stints at PSP Philadelphia and Schuylkill Haven for promotion. But I'm from the area, so I know the area very well.
Get back my mouse back. There we go.
We're just gonna scroll down like that.
All the way, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. This is our PSP tips. Basically, you can just go online to submit any tips that you have. They are confidential in nature. If you have something local for East Allen Township, we recommend you calling our barracks directly or just going down to the barracks on Airport Road, as that tip will go directly to us. Whatever you submit online has to go all the way out to Harrisburg. They filter that tip based off where it needs to go, and then it comes back to us. So again, something local that you have for us, again, you can remain anonymous, submit it online, or you can come in or call our barracks. We also have a Facebook and Twitter, as you can see there on the bottom. Those are also on our website. Can we zoom out a little bit? Is that possible? That's all right, I'll make that work. All right, so for the first 3 quarters of 2025, those numbers on the right, 24 is on the left. First is the PA State Police. That's the entire Pennsylvania State Police. The next item down is Troop M Bethlehem, which covers 5 stations. Then our barracks Bethlehem, and then your township, East Allen. So in 2024, you had 752 calls for service, again, through the first 3 quarters. Right on track, first 3 quarters of 2025 with 764. Scroll down. This is traffic enforcement. Again, top is the Pennsylvania State Police as a whole. Next down is Troop M. Again, all 5 stations. Then our station, Troop M Bethlehem. East Allen Township then for 2025. And in the red is 2024 numbers. So for crashes, we are down. Crashes with fatalities, we have 0 this year. Crashes including injury or death, we're at 16. So again, those are lower. DUI crashes, we have 3 through this quarter. Hit and run crashes, 6. Those are down significantly. Citations at 150, and then warnings at 43. Crime data for the first 3 quarters. Again, East Allen Township, you can see there at the bottom. Criminal investigations, so far this year we have 73 in the township. We had 80 in 2024. Of those 73, we made criminal arrests on 28 of them. Drug investigations, we have 4 so far this year. Crimes against a person, we have 18. Crimes against property, 36. And then crimes against society, 21. The crimes against a person is 18. 2 of those are sex offenses, 13 are assault, and 3 are others. For the crimes against property, I have 10 of them as thefts, 19 as fraud, forgery, and 7 as other. And then your crimes against society, those are mostly DUIs, your disturbances, your harassments, things like that. So we put this on here because Bath is obviously right down the street. Back in August, we had a stabbing. Approximately 2 o'clock in the morning, troopers got dispatched to 104 East Main Street in Bath Borough for the reports of gunshots. When we got there, we found a 23-year-old victim who was actually stabbed. During that altercation, somehow 2 to 3 gunshots rang out. We don't know exactly where those came from. Everybody on scene, including the victim, is uncooperative. They're not talking. It's probably gang related, but we're still investigating. And again, there's only so much we can do when even the victim is very uncooperative. But again, if anyone has any information on that, you can submit a tip. There's the websites down at the bottom. We try to team up with Bethlehem Township, along with our Vice, the DEA, and a Target. Down around the Airport Shopping Center, we have various hotels. So we're constantly doing joint operations with Allentown and Bethlehem. So far through this year, we have 3 retail thefts arrests during these 3 joint operations. 15 wanted individuals were taken into custody. We got 3 DUIs, 15 drug arrests, 4 firearms seized, and over 82 citations, traffic citations were issued during these details. We try to do these again every 3 months or so. Keep our partnerships with Allentown and Bethlehem working good. It also helps us out because those hotels are absolutely crazy. So this was an arrest based off a flock hit. For those of you that don't know, we have flock cameras around those Hanover Township, around those, around the Airport Shopping Center. And what they do is they're cameras that pick up on license plate, and we're able to input pretty much anything we want into those flock cameras. They hit on license plates, the make and model of car, and so if we have an incident where someone committed a theft or any type of crime against a person, we can put that car into flock, license plate, just the make, the model, the color. When that car travels past the camera, it'll hit and it'll send us a real-time live notification to every trooper that has flock installed on their either computers or their cell phones of that car. Shows where it's been, where it's going, again, and the plate on that car. They're very beneficial and they're hidden constantly in this area. We just had a meeting with Allen Township the other night. They were talking about possibly looking into flock cameras. So if you have any questions, you can contact the barracks and we can set you up with flock and take a look at that as well. They're very, very beneficial. Those again are owned, purchased by you guys, but you give us access to it and it greatly helps what we're able to do. So as you can see, 2 firearms seized, a bunch of drugs, money, and cell phones. A lot of these warehouses around here have gigantic parking lots, and especially in the summer, we're getting these gigantic car meets. Most of them are 20 to 30 cars, but we've had upwards of 100 at these. Yeah, well over 100 cars. They're a pain in the butt. We get there and, you know, it's 2 or 3 troopers. We're surrounded by 100+ people in all these cars. So we're telling people to put up this sign. It's got to be pretty much exactly this sign. Those red ones that just say no trespassing, there's really not much we can do. If you have this sign out, there's case law that says we're able to prosecute based off of this sign. So any township buildings, any warehouse that are having issues, we recommend putting that up. That gives us, the state police, a lot more leeway of what we're able to do. These don't take place so much in the winter. It's mainly spring, summer, but it's an ongoing issue for us, not just this township, but all over our coverage area. We did Coffee with the Cop October 8th of this year in Bath Borough. Mayor Fee opened up City Hall for us. We had some people show up. Just a great way for us to, you know, meet with the community, sit down, answer any questions they have. And that was a great event. So we encourage anyone that can do this to do that, and we'd be more than happy to help, or any kind of event like this. That's really good outreach to the public, and we enjoy doing it. The station commander there on the right, it's Lieutenant Troutman. He does it every year, treats for the trooper, Halloween. He sets up a table, hands out candy. We also have a couple troopers go out with big bags of candy and go into residential neighborhoods that we cover and hand out candy. Again, it's just a great outreach. Helps kids to keep the kids safe around Halloween, and again, show that we're out there. These are our 3 patrol vehicles. Around COVID, it kind of messed everything up to where we were going. So right now, these are the 3 vehicles that we have. We are going back to all white eventually, but as you can see, we have 3 different types out there right now, gray and then the 2 white. But anything you see, as long as you have that stripe down the side with the big patch, that's how you know it's us, the Pennsylvania State Police. And eventually, we're going to be going back to all white, hopefully the same vehicle at some point. But again, those are the 3 that we have out there right now. And then this is just how to contact us. Again, we're down on 2930 Airport Road. If you have an emergency, you can call 911. It will get directed to us. Any non-emergency, you can call. That'll be our number direct, the 610-861-2026. And then those are all the ways that you can reach us. And that's it for my presentation. What I'd like to do is open it up to the board. If you have any questions for me, and then anybody in the audience after
Keep
that.
going for Silvercrest.
What's that?
Stay on Silvercrest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Anyone on the board have any questions?
I want to thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate that. Thank you very
We
much.
really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Are
thank
those
you.
I saw it says Commonwealth of PA, those no trespassing signs?
That's for at the state property.
Yes.
You would have your organization
Okay,
at the
'cause
bottom.
you said that exactly,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
exact sign, but then at the bottom it would say East Allen
I wondered,
Township.
that's why I saw
Okay.
that.
Right, yep.
Yeah, the Commonwealth, those are the signs we have up at the lot.
Right.
At the state.
And we
I
can
just
get
wanted
those
to
ordered for
clarify.
us then.
You have to get it made with your name on it.
And that
'cause it
camera,
has-
is that a
has to
cost
be
to
on.
us to put those
Yes.
flock
Yes.
The flock
up?
cameras, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. They are a little expensive,
Yeah.
Yes.
but.
North
they're-
Whitehall, I think, did go through with it,
Yeah.
and they put a lot of them
They
up.
did,
Yeah.
yep. But they're
And
very,
it-
very
it-
helpful.
It helps because if you have a known person that's doing crimes, it'll hit on that camera and you'll see their path where they travel, and then you can see if there's a pattern, and then if there is, you know,
It takes some time to
follow
do
it.
it, you need permissions.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think what they also do is they set them up and they give you like a 30-day trial to see how you like them.
Right.
And then you all come together and vote on it.
But
But
they're fabulous.
yeah, they're a great tool. I mean, we found missing persons that way.
Oh, yeah, it's
You
just,
know,
it's everything.
it really, really helps us out.
That
It's a
helps
great
with the
thing.
gunshots, when like in Allentown, when they had gunshots and then something, a camera, is
Yeah,
it the same
yep.
type of camera?
Yep.
Yep, exactly. It's
Okay.
not, it won't
Focus
ring
on
for
where it was.
gunshot,
It
but
won't ring for gunshots.
yeah, if we pick,
Allentown has a different system.
Yes.
So Allentown, it will ring for
The
gunshots.
county has
Yeah.
the flock.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right, but say that someone gets it on the ring camera, that vehicle leaving the scene, we can then put that into flock quickly, and then it'll start popping up, hey, it's on this road, or we'll get at least a better picture of the plate, and then we can go from there. It'll show where the car went, up until the camera stopped. But now that all the townships are pretty much getting them all around us, I mean, we have them everywhere. That it's a huge tool for seeing where people are going or coming from. But
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. All right, any questions from any of you in the audience?
I'm glad you're here.
All right, yep. All right, that's it for
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Be safe. Take care. Thank you.
Okay. Going on to supervisor's business, I always hand this to Brent.
All right, under supervisor's business, item number A, you have a consideration of a request for a zoning map amendment. You have representatives here from Pivot Energy as well as the Airport Authority. This is looking at two separate parcels within the township where there would be zoning from the current zoning of suburban residential to the agriculture zoning. So if you want to come up to the table or stand at the podium, whatever's easiest, you can present your request.
Explain the process to the audience first.
Yeah, and then Joe, if you want to go over the process of how we handle,
Yeah,
and then the board.
sure. So I think it's important for people in the audience, especially anybody who's spoken this evening, to understand the process that we have here in East Allen Township. There will be no action taken this evening on any vote to rezone. So East Allen has a process that we adopted a number of years ago. And that process is when a landowner wants to request a rezoning of their property, they can come before the board, make a short presentation, have audience participation, people from the community ask questions. And then the determination tonight is simply for the board to determine whether or not it will hold a public hearing. The municipality's planning code in Pennsylvania allows a landowner to request a rezoning of their property. It could be a private landowner, it could be anybody. And that process is such that in the event that they make that request, the township or the municipality can have a public meeting, and before that public meeting, they would send that request to both our local planning commission and also the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission for review and comment. And then after 30 days, we would hold a public hearing in which members of the community, of course, could testify. The applicant would make a presentation, and the board would make a determination at that point in time whether they would adopt the amendment. So this evening is the very first step, and that is simply to determine whether or not the board will even consider holding a public hearing, which is permitted under the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. So we're going to have the board members the applicant make a presentation. The board members will have questions, and then I believe the board will allow members of the audience to ask some questions of the presenters as well. Okay? So that's the process. Thank you.
All right, great. So my name's Seth Schaefer with Pivot Energy, based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I have Ryan Meyer here from the Airport Authority. So I just had a brief presentation similar to the letter I had already sent, but the maps are a little bit bigger. They're 11 by 17 in the back, because obviously the 8.5 by 11, any map is pretty illegible. And like you said, I'll be brief. There's several slides there. You need a copy? Just walking through the presentation here, just a brief of what I wanted to hit on, just talk a little bit briefly about who we are, the purpose of this presentation, which was already hit on, a little bit on the proposed projects themselves, and then just wanted to hit on a few of the hot topics that we often hear on our projects, to just give some background, and if there's any questions related to them, since this is somewhat of a new type of use in the state here in the last 5 to 10 years. So first of all is Pivot themselves. Pivot Energy is what's called a community solar company. Here in the state of Pennsylvania, there's not any community solar legislation. So it's actually a net metering program here in the state through the utilities. But in other markets, what we do is it's a sharing and a discount of your electric bill for the community. Our projects are typically 1 to 5 megawatts. So that translates into, you guys probably know, or maybe have a little bit of background, that a megawatt is typically about 5 acres. So our projects are anywhere from like 10 to 30 acres. Our projects, because of that size, there's not really any substation or anything proposed like that. It's just a couple poles and then the array itself. Our company is based out of Denver, Colorado. We have a local office in the Baltimore area. And then, like I said, I'm originally from the Harrisburg area, but I live out in Pittsburgh, so I'm local here to the state. And then there's just some stats here on our company. Purpose of tonight, which was already mentioned, was we were just requesting consideration of a zoning map change of a couple of the properties that the airport authority owns. They're currently zoned suburban residential. The airport authority has owned those properties a little over 20 years plus, and they've always leased it for agriculture to date. So what we're asking for is the potential to change the map zoning to ag, and then the process per your ordinance would be a conditional use. Well, certainly the zoning map first, and then a conditional use is to tie conditions to the plan. The next page is just a snapshot of your zoning map and where these two parcels lie on the southern end of the on page 5 on the southern end of the township. One along Weaverville Road, and then one that is at the dead end of Pheasant Road. And just to give you a perspective of where these two properties are. The next two pages are, which you've probably already seen here, just like a very basic layout of what we'd be proposing. You know, based on the topography and just these projects in general, we really don't do any grading or anything like that. We plan to leave all the existing vegetation. We will have proposed screening, and you know, the project itself doesn't really use any utilities. It's the electric proposed for something like this typically powers about 300 to 400 homes. So you know, it's possible that it could be used for a data center, I guess, but this would be a drop in the bucket for a data center. I don't know if you've seen any of the power needs of a data center, but it really, not really the use for this. It's more to allow and supply additional power to the grid for PPL to support additional power. What we have is you know, have a situation where there's less generation in the state because of, you know, regulations and things changing, whether it's converting of coal to natural gas, or it's just decommissioning other power plants. So this is an opportunity to provide some additional power to the community. And the second site plan is the Pheasant Road, which is, like I said, just the dead end of Pheasant Road right on the southeast edge of the township. And again, it's an existing ag field that is being utilized right now for farming. We'd be looking to put a facility in, similar thing. We'd be leaving all the trees, putting in additional screening, and then tying to the local 3-phase power. The next page is page 8, where we're talking a little bit, just give you some background on the proposed projects, or our typical project, I should say. The entire solar array is fenced and screening installed. A typical fence is like a 7 or 8 foot high, like we call it almost like a DCNR deer fencing, like wood posts. The intent is to keep larger wildlife out and allow smaller wildlife to pass through. Construction is typically a couple months, and we would be on site 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times a year. Everything's run remotely, so there's really no traffic. We don't use any power. We don't use any utilities. Our typical lease is a 20-year lease, and then at the end of the lease, it's in the lease that we have to remove everything from the property. So there's a decommissioning plan. Typically, there's some decommissioning bonding with the municipalities that we're working with to ensure that if something happens to us, it can still go away. So the land's restored to its original condition. It's nothing permanent. So that would be it as far as kind of just general details. One other detail would be, I guess, as we're looking at the picture here, would be, there's two types of solar arrays. Again, you may already know this. There's solar arrays that sit still and just point to the south. That's just called a fixed tilt. And then there's also something called a single axis tracker. So that is where it's actually following the sun from east to west. So it slowly rotates as the day goes on to maximize how much sun you're collecting. So those are two potential designs you'll see in the state as you're looking around. The next slide, page number 9. A big part of what we do on almost all our projects is a combination of agriculture and the solar facilities. It typically involves what's called solar grazing, so the term's agrivoltaics. So we partner with local, typically sheep farmers, sometimes cattle, for grazing during the growing season. So the farmer has the ability to release sheep on the property, obviously with the approval of the municipality, and they maintain the sheep there, and then it's one less thing that we're mowing, maintaining, or making noise, other than, I guess you could say, some occasional buying. That would be a combined agriculture use. We also typically plant an herb seed mix called Fuzz and Buzz, so we promote pollinator mixes for beekeeping on site and things of that nature also. So we try to basically dual use our properties. The next slide, number 10, just kind of giving some ideas of like the decibel. So the facilities, we're not proposing any batteries or anything like that. So the facility only runs during the day. It only runs during daylight hours. So when the sun's up, it's running. There's inverters, there's a transformer, and then there's if it's a single axis tracker, there's a tracker. Those are the things making noise. Typically everything's proposed in the center of the facility, and it's not very loud at all. It's very quiet. That's what we're trying to outline here in the chart. The inverter is simply to convert DC to AC power, and then the transformer boosts the voltage to get to the 3-phase power. And that's the extent of those. So it's a small, typically like, I'd say like 5 by 10 concrete pad with some equipment on it that ties to the existing 3-phase lines on Weaverville or out on Airport Road for the two different projects. Then the next page, page 11, just giving a little visual of what the fencing would look like, or what our typical fencing looks like. The ag fencing with wood posts, metal screening. The next one is just talking about, there's been lots of property value studies, because one thing that people are certainly concerned about is property value. And most all studies have shown that property value is not adversely affected by a solar farm. It's something where it's there, it's screened, and it's not it's an area that's going to be staying in that use for an extended period of time, and you're not worried about additional development or additional traffic, additional people. So it's something that we don't have specifically for these projects, but I just wanted to bring it up because it is something that comes up, and wanted to mention it as well. Next page, page 13, is talking about health and safety. Another thing that comes up relative to these projects. Similar to people having solar arrays on their roofs, there's really nothing from a safety standpoint. We're certainly willing to do any kind of soil testing if folks are worried about that. In the later slide here, can show a little bit what the solar panels are made up of. Our solar panels come from South Carolina. There's no liquids in them. Like people talk about things draining out of solar panels and affecting the soil. There's nothing liquid in our facilities. We'll do, stormwater management to control any stormwater runoff, through the Lehigh, Northampton counties. Folks often ask us about EMR. There's minimal, if any, radiation coming from the facility. Your cell phone hanging to your face is more dangerous than our facilities. So again, just wanted to hit on that briefly. Solar panel construction, that's what I was just talking about. They're basically made up of glass, aluminum, and copper. We don't have any hazardous materials in our panels. And then, as we talked about earlier, this is another part. If they were damaged or broken, they're replaced, they're recycled, and then as part of the decommissioning process, they'd all be removed at the end of the terms of the lease. The next slide, slide 15, just talks a little bit more about what all makes up our panels, to give a little bit more background. And then just my contact information here on the last page.
So, Mr. Schaefer, if I may ask, this is simply a map amendment, correct? You are not requesting a text amendment for any of the provisions of the zoning ordinance?
No.
And I was gonna ask, has your company reviewed that? Because there are 26 conditions.
Yeah,
under our
the
conditional
conditions
use.
under your other, I think you have 11 zoning districts and 8 of them allow solar as a conditional use.
Right, but have you actually looked at the conditional use requirements for a solar energy farm?
Yeah, I believe so,
Okay,
yes, yeah.
all right, well, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
everybody understands
The
that.
standalone ordinance itself, right?
It's not a standalone, it's under our conditional use provisions of our ordinance, and there are 26 conditions. For instance, you mentioned a 7-foot fence, the ordinance may require 8 feet. I just want to make sure you're aware of that, because not knowing what the board's going to do this evening, but there are 26 conditions set forth in the zoning ordinance that you would have to comply with, even if you moved forward from today.
Sure.
And even if you were successful in a rezoning hearing, you would still have to go through conditional use approval and land development approval. Does the company understand that?
We do, yes, yeah.
Because
We understand that.
I think what I want to make sure is that our board understands that you are not asking for revisions to the text part of the ordinance. You're simply asking for not simply, but you're asking for the rezoning of the map to an agricultural district.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, I think the conditional use portion of your ordinance seemed very fair, so there's nothing to change there. And plus, it's a conditional use of where you could adhere additional
Impose additional
conditions also.
conditions, correct.
For sure, yeah, so, certainly.
Board of any?
I have 1 minute, real quick. You said it's a 20-year lease?
Yeah, 20 years with potential to extend it another 20, yeah.
So it's a 40-year lease, technically.
Technically, it can be a 40-year lease, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would think they'd have a right to renew in it.
Right.
I would think so.
That's what I
Okay, and you
want.
also said that you're
It's
gonna
a-
recycle them?
It's a provision for the lessor to,
Yeah, it's a negotiated term.
correct.
You said you're gonna recycle them or donate them somewhere? From what I heard, they're very hard, there's not a recycling plant available in the United States. And also, I don't think you could donate them to anyone, because nobody wants them, because they're garbage. You know what I mean?
Well, they just lose their, it's like anything, they lose their efficiency.
Right, so you're not gonna be able to donate them, I mean, who would want them?
Well, what we've done is we've recycled them, or we've given them to, like, third world countries. They still produce power. They don't just die. They just get to an efficiency rating where it doesn't make sense for us to, like, it's a life where we wanna replace them. Plus the technology's changing, so.
I heard there's a lot of water usage too, so, you're saying there's no water usage on these solar panels?
No water usage. I mean, in air, like where we have projects out west where there's a lot of dust, we have to clean things. But no, there's not an excessive amount of water usage.
I know out of Berks County, I work for agriculture, and there are a lot of farmers that are saying because the amount of rain that comes down so fast, what it's doing is flooding all their fields. Are you familiar with people having septic in there that are nearby the homes, and also they have well waters and septic? And as far as the runoff, from all the farmers I talk to that wreck their crops every year since they've been built, that they're really having a problem with the solar panels. Are you familiar with anything like that you could tell us about?
I'm not. kind of like the pictures we have in here, like what we're looking to do is, you know, the bottom of the panel is probably about 3 feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to keep vegetation about 2 feet off the ground. You know, like I said, we're just bringing in sheep or whatever we need to maintain. Like if we mow, we probably mow like twice a year.
And then what
So it's
happens?
gonna be like a meadow,
Mm-hmm.
which from a stormwater standpoint soaks up a ton of water. I mean, it's better than what's there now. Like if you're planting corn,
Mm-hmm.
it's just bare ground essentially, right? And
Right, but it's getting soaked into the
we're gonna actually
ground,
improve, yeah, we
then
improve
hitting
it.
the glass.
And then what you also have in this particular area of the township, I'm not sure about the whole township, but it's relatively flat. You know, Weaversville Road is, you know, there's not a ton of topo to like.
But there's a lot of flooding in that area now.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
you know, up in the
So
other
high
section,
groundwater, or-
so,
Oh,
I'm not sure, but I know the farmer that lives up there, he said they had a lot of flooding up there at the end there, so I'm not sure about the whole thing, but
I think they're
a lot of
able to-
traffic
they're
goes
able to
through
farm
there.
the whole thing, but yeah, I don't
Mhm.
certainly don't even know much more than that, but that's.
Okay, I was
generally
just
speaking.
curious.
Yeah.
we're not, you know, talking to people and things like that,
Sure,
I was
sure.
wondering. And how many solar panels are you planning to put in there?
I think it's on the plan I gave you. So number 5, under system information, so it would be, 241 strings with 24 modules, so it's 5,764 panels.
How many?
They're like mounted kind of like this.
How many?
5,700.
5,700 panels. Okay, thank you.
At each location.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was just quoting
Thank you.
from the pheasant, for.
The one's slightly bigger, the one in Weaversville is slightly bigger.
Yeah, it's,
Mhm.
what, 6250?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they both generate, the same amount of power, but you're right, there is,
I don't know how to,
discrepancy.
I don't know how to ask my question properly, so I might ask the fire department for a comment on it, but what is the costability or flammability of the panels if a fire does ignite versus just the general presence of electrical fire?
I think that's more of a hearing question.
Okay.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
I mean, I can speak to just that, any kind of training like that, we do one-on-one with the municipality and either their local fire department or the regional fire department
Mhm.
of any concerns relative to fire.
Because I know there's special protocols for electric vehicles. You can't fight that fire the same way as you can, and you're looking at all electricity. It's,
Yeah, there would be,
so daytime, it's live.
yes. Yeah, when the sun goes down, it shuts down and everything goes level.
Right,
Yeah.
but in the daytime, when it's fully live, you know, what say we have a fire at either facility, how is that accessible and treatable, you know, suppression-wise?
So, yeah, so what you would have is you'd have, both PPNL and us would have like automatic shut-offs at the perimeter of the facility. We're able to shut it off remotely. And then if there was I'm not really sure how a panel would burn. It's aluminum, glass, silicone. I guess it's possible maybe, but I'm not familiar with that. But certainly the equipment, yes, could catch fire. The inverter or the transformer, no different than any, you know, when a transformer gets hit with lightning or something like that, you know, similar situation. That equipment would be in the center of the facility, so it'd be several hundred feet from any property line. And then it's typically, you either just let it burn out, or not really putting water on it. We have a fire department guy that could give more detail. I don't want to say the exact way that you would put it
Since
out.
it's electric, I would imagine you don't want to put water on it.
Right. But I mean, the biggest thing is there's a shutting off all power to the facility immediately when something goes wrong.
Is it able to stopgap it before it gets to the lines that it feeds?
I'm not an electrical engineer either. I just know that there's something that trips it pretty quickly. Yeah, I don't know that I can speak to.
And the other question I have to ask it in layman's terms, and it's the right time of year. when one Christmas light goes out, they all go out. Is that the case with this, or is it able to bypass and keep running?
They're what's called, so each row is called a string. So each string has its own inverter. So that like if one goes down, yeah, they'll still, others will
The
operate.
others are still operating, okay.
We would just be partially producing.
One thing, I'm sorry. Tell me how you see this fitting into the community of East Allen Township, how it benefits the residents or the township?
The biggest thing would be is a change in typically the counties we've dealt with in Pennsylvania. There's a reassessment of the property from ag to commercial. There's existing legislation right now in the House and Senate for community solar, to where this could become a community solar facility, but that obviously is not in place right now.
What would that change?
What's that?
What would that change?
If the state passed a community solar bill, then we could make our facilities community solar. We need that program in place to where the utilities would then have to give a credit for your electric bill. So in other states, like basically all the neighboring states of Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, and I think Ohio just passed legislation for it. You have a component built up of like so many subscribers, and it can be anywhere in PPL territory, it can be local, where a certain percentage of them is LMI, low and middle income. So that's anywhere from like 20 to 40% of the power being produced is for those folks, and that's anywhere from a 25% to 100% discount of their electric bill. And then the other 80 to 60 to 80% is typically like a 10 or 15% discount on their electric bill if they choose to subscribe. And like I said, this particular facility would be about 400 homes.
And I'm only asking this because I don't know the answer. You talked about taxes. So obviously the property is currently either preferentially taxed as agricultural land maybe. What have you seen in terms of any tax benefits to the community from tax revenue?
We've done taxing surveys. I don't know the exact numbers, but it would be my understanding would be in the thousands of dollars. Like it's not a huge swing in taxes. Another thing that's done on all our projects is we do some kind of community benefit donation to the township, whether it's a park or roads or whatever it is a part of every project we do also.
Okay.
So that's
Thank you.
A question Mark brought up about the weather in this area. Well, this time of year, it's real cold. Well, you get a couple snowfalls. How much efficiency are you gonna have, and how long does it take for those to get cleared off so they can start producing electricity again?
for snow.
Yeah.
Snowfall. So they tilt at about not really 45, but like it's about 50 degrees, so almost a 45-degree angle. It would be something where we would either physically come out and clear them if it's some substantial snowstorm, or you're right, we would lose production for a couple days or however long, based on the snow staying on it or freezing over or whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you have the potential for the, what do you call them? The movers. Trackers.
Yeah, trackers.
You have the potential for the trackers to freeze solid.
Potential for those to freeze solid too. Typically the motor's underneath the panel, but yeah, certainly mechanical failures can happen for sure.
Just because of ice.
Yep. Yeah, we've built quite a few projects in Colorado, so dealt with like bad weather.
Anything else? Audience have anything?
I just wondering if you're aware that
Tom, come up here, please. You have to state your name.
My name's Tom Fox. I live at 5615 North Albia Street in Bethlehem, right down the road here. I was just wondering if anyone here was aware that the World Health Association says that a farm this size should be at least 1.8 something miles from a residential area.
Mm,
That's quite a bit.
that's good
Is
to
there,
know.
This is the World Health Association.
but
Say
what,
this.
what is the cause, or what is the, I,
This is what they're recommending,
okay.
so
Mm,
it's a far cry from being a couple hundred feet.
right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my concern too with the fire, when Mark brought it up, is the houses are so close to that area. If something would start burning, and it is, I think, a dry area up there, I don't want anybody's houses to burn down that are so close to that. I mean, I find that it should be somewhere a little further out, but, I mean, what's in place? I mean, Ray's here, he's the fire department guy.
I think right now, until you would, because I was gonna make a public comment as a resident. but
Okay.
I don't wanna.
Okay, good.
It's on both sides of the street.
Okay.
But,
I think we're getting into a hearing.
yeah, we're getting into it.
Oh, okay.
So
then forget
my
it.
question, Raymond Henry, 5711 Brumar Drive off of Hanover, approximate area to Weaversville Road. You're looking to put this facility in only in daytime use, which would be, I'm trying to understand that one. And you're not putting any type of backup system in there or battery system in there to collect power, so how is it financially feasible for you to, and what's your expectations of expansion down the road? Is there a plan that's sitting to put a battery backup source in there that will be able to collect this power and use it over a period of time? So it seems like a small solar farm for a minimal amount. You're saying 300 to 400 homes it's going to power, put into the grid. What consumption of power in the area does really require that, and why only would you be looking to collect and not store to be able to provide, future energy even during the evenings, or when that system's down, you'd still be able to put electricity into the system when you're down. So you're not really using the farm efficiently. I mean, that's how I'm kind of looking at it. But that would be my question is, would you be looking at expanding this, adding those types of things down the future? Or you're just telling us all that this is once and done and this is all you're gonna plant there? So that would be my question.
Yeah, I can answer that. So the Public Utility Commission, issues different programs, and then, the program with PPL is a cap on, it's net metering, and there's a cap of 2.5 megawatts for projects. Now, you could have, if you had a bigger property, you could have multiple 2.5 megawatt projects if you've seen bigger. And then what that allows is, like, we're only dealing with PPL. When you get into larger solar projects, then it goes clicks up a level to the,
PUC.
well, above that, MISO and, the overall independent service providers of multi-state, PJM, thank you, yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, PJM. So we're keeping it small, it's not gonna, the size isn't gonna change based on that basically state program through the PUC. If there was ever batteries proposed, which there are no batteries proposed, we would most certainly have to come back here for a use change and an approval of changing the project. We have a ton of projects right now that don't have batteries. Batteries is more of a new thing. So yeah, we just produce power during the day, and that's it. And you're right, it's not a ton of power. It's not an overwhelming project. That's just kind of our bread and butter of, like, many more projects, small size. In the Midwest, what we're trying to do is, you hypothetically take a farmer who has 100 acres, I mean, it can be Pennsylvania also, take 100 acres, we lease them 20 or 30 acres, and it's an ability for them to have supplemental income over above what they're maybe potentially renting the rest of their property for. That's kind of the intent of community solar in general. So we're not looking to take over huge swaths of land, or, so that's, I guess you could say that's kind of the business model.
Thank you.
So, but yeah.
Maybe a question, it might be a hearing related question.
No, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Tom Long. I live at 6224 Grouse, very close to a proposed project. If not, I didn't see it. It might even be behind my yard. I don't know if it's appropriate to bring up the economics of it. That's a business decision on your part, and I'm not very good at math. But I don't know how much you sell a megawatt of energy for, and how much revenue you get per year. And with the airport authority, how does that compare with the rent you get renting it for agricultural uses, for the current uses? So those are, just some remarks that I'd be curious about. Generally, I don't care about business. That's your decision to make if it's financially feasible or not. From the township perspective, I'd hate to see it going belly up, and regardless of the bonds and everything for decommissioning the plant, ultimately we're the ones who have to stare at it for 3 years while it gets sorted out. So just want to bring that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Beischer, 1275 Weaversville Road. Question on the 5,700 solar panels, do they contain any toxic materials like lead or cadmium in their construction?
There are panels that do, I believe, have some of those in it. What we have from the company's called Silfab out of South Carolina, do not have those elements in them, no.
Do they contain any toxic materials other than what I just listed?
There's a small amount of silver in the panels.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you for your time.
It's up to Roger, you don't have, so the board has the right to take this under, all the presentation this evening under advisement and render a decision in the future as to whether or not they'll be entertaining a public hearing.
Yeah, I didn't
No, I just
feel,
wanted-
you said, you started with that, so I didn't feel as if I had to repeat that.
Okay, well, I didn't know because Georgianne was asking whether
I
you were
thought you
gonna vote
vote
this
today.
evening.
I thought you usually
You can
vote.
certainly take it under advisement and render a decision at the next meeting.
If you wanted to take a vote, the vote would only be to proceed with a hearing.
That's right.
It is not a vote on actively changing the zoning today.
Right.
There's a whole nother process that would have to happen.
Okay.
And that hearing is only related to the change of zoning districts from one to another. It is not related to the use of what they're proposing for solar farms. That will be another additional hearing for the use itself, which will be a conditional use under our current ordinance.
Or we could choose
got
to
it.
have no
I
hearing.
can understand, but, I mean,
Correct.
just wait, is that what?
We have the right to have a hearing
Mm-hmm,
to change the zoning,
mm-hmm.
or we don't even have to have a hearing.
Okay,
So
and
today you could make a vote to vote,
We can make that decision when we see fit, when we have time to discuss it at a meeting.
Okay,
so you could vote to proceed with the hearing, or you could vote to not proceed with the hearing, or you
Okay.
could table it until another meeting for further discussion.
okay.
We can put it on, January's workshop.
Sounds good.
You know what date that is, Brent, just so that
I
they're,
believe it's the 22nd.
okay.
Of
So
January?
tentatively, right now, if we keep it the fourth Thursday, it would be January 22nd. We would be able to confirm that on the 5th of January when we reorganize our board and set our meeting dates for the year.
I'm not gonna be
I
here
would
that
think the
day.
chances are January 22nd.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be here that day, but I'll call in,
Okay.
doesn't matter.
And that is not the date of the hearing,
Okay,
date when we
that's,
decide whether it is going to be here.
okay,
All right.
okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Maybe I will be here. I'll be here.
You've become quite the world traveler.
I am too, I'm gone the
So you're not
week
gonna be in
before.
Milos or, Ibiza?
Moving on to the budget.
I will be
So,
here.
obviously, we had a presentation at the last meeting. I'm just gonna go over the summary numbers. If the board has any questions on the budget, we can certainly discuss them. If there's any proposed amendments, they can be had tonight, as well. So, the proposed overall budget anticipates receiving $5,330,201 in revenue and $5,366,745 in expenditures. It proposes maintaining the current tax rate currently of 6.5 mils for the general fund, and then the following balances are projected for each fund. The general fund will be $4,004,001 in revenue and the same amount in expenses for a balanced budget. The fire fund will be $45,000. That is only for the operation costs that we would typically give them, and it's spending and receiving $45,000. Open space revenue is anticipated to be $610,000, with expenses at right now projected $0. Hydrant fund proposed revenue is $40,100. Proposed expenditures is $31,944. Sewer fund has proposed revenue of $62,250 and proposed expenditures of $60,700. Capital projects has a revenue of $410,000 and expenditures of $1,750,000. Liquid fuels fund has revenue of $205,100 and expenditures of $205,100. So, as of right now, the general fund, which is how we normally operate, would be balanced. A majority of the funds would be balanced with the exception of capital projects, which we are using fund balances out of our parks and recreation to do the several projects that we talked about, such as Jacksonville Park and Bicentennial Park with the upgrades to the fields and courts, as well as the pavilion. But then also we are anticipating the purchase of a fire truck out of the funds that we have. There are some other projects that are being proposed tentatively, such as the storage building for Public Works, that will be coming out of the fund balance, but is not part of this, just because we don't have estimates. But we would anticipate using the fund balance. So at some point next year, we would see expenses exceeding revenue for special capital projects. So just as the board is aware that those capital projects will reduce our overall fund balance, but we're still balanced on the operations that we have to do here every day. So if there's no other questions, we would make a motion to adopt the budget as presented, which would set the spending plan for 2026.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, motion was made by Georgianne and seconded by Mark. The budget process has been simplified very much by Brent, and I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
You will find out that this township is in very good financial state. Any other questions? Roll call.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hensinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unang?
Yes, motion passed.
All right, and now is the next step of going out and adopting ordinance 2025-05, which is establishing the 2026 tax millage rates for the general fund. We are proposing keeping it at 6.5 mils. This would be the same tax rate that people have had since 2006 when we had our last tax increase almost 20 years ago. So it would be a motion to adopt.
I'm moving these down, man.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Mark, seconded by Lou. Further discussion, questions, comments? Roll call.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hensinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unang?
Yes, motion passed.
All right, and then the last item we have is the hydrant tax resolution, which would be 2025-17. Before you make a motion to entertain, I actually am suggesting a change to the hydrant tax for next year. So what we actually were able to do, Angela and I, we have a spreadsheet. There are 978 parcels of land in the township that pay hydrant taxes. So right now, the hydrant tax bill is actually $30 per household, or commercial property or enterprise, whatever that is, or parcel. So in going through and looking at it, if we switched from a flat fee, which everybody pays the same amount regardless of the value of the property, and actually went to a millage rate of $0.25 mil, out of that property, 948 parcels would see a tax bill that would be reduced less than $30 a month based on that millage rate. So majority of the homes in the township, as long as their tax assessment on average is less than 150,000, which is half of what the actual value is of a home in 1995, they would see a reduction. On average, the bill varies between $10 to $15 in the reduction. Now what that does is commercial properties that have larger assessed values would actually wind up paying more. So out of those 978, 948 go down, and then there are 30 that actually would increase. And out of the 30, 22 would be over up to $50, or over $50. 5 would be over 500. So on average, if your property is not a high assessed property, your bill would go down. But the majority, like I said, of them would be reduced based on the current numbers that we have. So I would recommend that the resolution be adopted, that it would revert to a quarter of a mil, which is slightly less revenue, but with the fund balance that is in the hydrant fund that can only be used for the hydrants, we would take a little bit of a loss till it adjusts out on the revenue. But properties such as a warehouse would pay almost $1,500 compared to $30 that they pay now. So it's a more equitable system of taxing, especially when those industrial or commercial uses are predominantly ones that will benefit greater than a hydrant in a residential home.
So you're looking for a motion?
It would be a
For the
motion
hydrant
to,
tax to be a quarter mil.
to establish a quarter mil of assessment for 2026.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion was made by Chris, seconded by Georgianne.
And you say the bills are gonna come out as one bill this year?
So that is the other thing. So in working with our tax collector, we've been able to consolidate both the property tax and the hydrant tax on the one bill. So anybody that has a mortgage will pay one bill and their escrow would reimburse them instead of having to worry about the second bill. We found that there was a lot of delinquents that because of the second bill, people not realizing it's a different bill than what they pay. And then the $30, you don't really think about it, it's out of sight, out of mind. So it will show up on one bill going forward.
Plus you save just on the postage on that.
Well, we are fortunate that our tax collector personally stuffs both bills in
both.
one envelope.
She did already.
So
okay.
she was doing that already.
Oh, excellent.
But we will save somewhat on printing costs because we're not printing two separate bills, we're
Right.
printing one.
Right.
So that individual cost is going to be down. But postage will probably be the same.
That's great.
And we are switching from doing the postage internally through our office and having our current mail postage company do it, and actually having the bill company print that as well. So.
Good.
Cheaper though, right, when you send out a lot of them at one time?
Well, we're getting a bulk discount rate for it either way, but it's gonna be streamlined that we're not getting the bills delivered, stuffing them, or doing anything with them, and then shipping them out. So it should be, as soon as they're printed, they're ready to get mailed, so that they're out March 1st as they always are every year,
Okay, good,
so.
thank you.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hunsinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Unit?
Yes, motion passed. Anything else under supervisors?
I do have it.
According to my agenda, no.
No, there isn't. I do have an announcement for manager staff report then.
Do you have something under manager?
No, it's just that time of year that we are accepting appointments for next year. So notices have been sent out to those board members that are currently seating and those that within a year will be expiring at the end of 2026. Anybody else that's interested in serving can certainly apply. We have the application online. We've mailed it through Constant Contact. I believe it's on the website, and I think we did a social media post. So anybody that's interested in getting involved, we do have several seats coming up that will be open for anybody that's interested. So.
Do you have a list of who's on it and what the date is that it's open?
So we have the term listing, and then we take that list and we send out the end of their expiration at the beginning of December. So, and then you guys will.
We don't have a list anywhere that we can look at.
We can give you the list, but what'll happen for the board when you go to appoint at the reorganization, we're only gonna give you each individual appointment position that's open.
Okay.
Otherwise, I mean, we can send you the term sheet so you have it, but I wouldn't use that just because the official one is at the minutes, and then we'll put the applications of anybody that's reapplying or going to be applying.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Brent?
Nope, that was all.
All right, we have nothing under secretary treasurers, we have a report. Questions or comments? Nothing under tax collector. Solicitor, very good report, Joe.
Thank you.
We have an engineer report. Any questions? Well, it's a little tough to have a question.
Yeah,
when
you
Jim's
can't have
not
any
there.
questions, yeah.
All right. Public Works, have we have a report? Anything jump out at you? Any comments? Okay. Planning Commission minutes. I'll take that as nothing. Recreation report. Okay, zoning, nothing, FRCA, I was unable to attend, you made that one, the November 17th meeting?
Yeah,
Georgianne, anything to report?
yeah, just about them building the building over there,
Still not done.
did they start it yet?
I don't know. I'm
think-
asking, is it still not
I
done?
think it's there.
It's,
They were issued a final sewage permit today.
Oh,
so
good, okay.
I believe they're close to occupancy. I mean, it's only a mobile trailer, so it should
Right.
not be.
Right. Once you secure it and hook up the pipes, you should be good to go.
that was, the holdup was not due to this township, that's for sure.
No.
Right.
No.
Ambulance report, anything?
I got my bill today to send in.
Yeah,
I
their
sent-
Yeah, the
subscriptions.
subscription list should be hitting the streets now, it should be delivered by now.
I sent
Yeah,
it
we
in
got
right
ours
away, 'cause
yesterday.
otherwise,
Yeah, I think this is the first. Last year, I think there was an issue with East Allen because of the multiple zip codes and
Right.
being added. So
Right, they went to a company that sent them out now, so I think they understood it better.
Okay, fire department, anything?
Sure. Give me 2 seconds, I'm gonna keep you here all night. First of all, we got the report, as you can see, the daytime numbers they're up there, and the majority of them were in the township. The pumper tanker that you signed for, or we signed for back in, I don't know, 2023. They met for that last week, and expectation is to see it October and November of next year, fingers crossed.
Wow.
So this has been a long, painful process on this one. So third thing is in your packet, I know I spoke about rental inspections in the township. Supervisor Hunsicker provided me with some information and talked to me a little bit about some of the programs that are existing in the area, so I provided one of them for you to review. We don't have to go through it tonight. I think what I'm looking for is maybe next year, and I know January is always a busy month with the reorg and your workshop, maybe if we could start taking a look at if it's something we would possibly entertain, possibly looking going forward with doing. Do we need a presentation for it, that we could start looking at it? Because I know if we do look at it, it's something that's gonna take some time to put together, it's not gonna happen overnight. So I have one that's a local program that you have, maybe over some time you can view it, look at it, yay or nay, but before we put any effort into putting a presentation on and if it's worthwhile, that's the thing I wanna know from you guys that are sitting up there. If it's worthwhile, I believe 1,000,000% it is, coming from that organization and personally, but it has to come from you. So if it's something that you think is worthwhile, think about it over the holidays, get back to us, and if you need me to, we'll put on a presentation and we can move forward with that. So On that note, Christmas in the Park is next Saturday. Hopefully, if you get an opportunity, you can stop by. It's gonna be good this year, as every year. And then I guess most importantly is, thank you for 2025 for your support, as you've always given to us. And as we move forward, hope we can continue to work together and have a wonderful, happy, safe holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ray.
Does the board have any interest in putting the rental discussion on the January workshop? Cause what I'm getting at is, we're gonna have to discuss it at some point,
Right.
and we seem to have a habit of, if we don't get it on an agenda like now, it'll be August and it still won't be on an agenda.
Yep, let's put it on.
That's fine. I think that's a good idea. Still don't get our road trip for the road, so.
Point taken.
Thank you. I was looking for that.
Okay. You got that, Brent?
Got it, we'll be at it.
Thank you, sir. Open space.
I'll do the next three. Jason has all the information. We're hoping to have something by January. We're hoping to have something by now, but we haven't got a response back, and I know we had to get stuff to him on the historic sites. So that is pretty well finished. I know Brent sent it over because I was copied with the email. We're waiting for him now. If we don't hear back, I'm gonna reach out to him by the end of the season, by the end of the year. Historic Society, our meeting's coming up, which is not gonna come up because we canceled it because of the holidays. We're waiting for the bid increments right now. Brent is working on some of the stuff for that right now. And the last thing is River Central. Quite a task. I just want to say that I believe it will be January sometime. I do want to personally thank, like I said, Brent, our planning commission, and everyone else involved. It is quite the, it's a challenge. I didn't realize how much went into it. Even the littlest definitions, people argue over the word the, and whatever. So, not argue, but discuss it, I should say. But, you know, the outcome, actually, the outcome is actually really good. And I believe it's really gonna benefit our township, and I believe the board will be quite impressed with what comes out of it. But I don't see that happening till January, maybe February. I think we're halfway.
Okay.
The only other note, because we are at the finish point of the open space plan, and it really just needs to go to the committee before it gets presented here, I believe it's probably the time where the board can authorize the staff to prepare an ordinance to establish an open space advisory committee, so that potentially for next year, since we're coming into appointments at reorg, we can have individuals for that group. So we'd be looking for a motion to authorize the staff to proceed with drafting and preparing an ordinance.
I'll second it.
Motion was made by Georgianne, seconded by Chris. Everybody understand?
Yep.
Roll call.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
Yes.
Ms. Hensinger?
Yes.
Mr. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Eubanks?
Yes, motion passes.
That's it.
That's it. I'm getting there. Okay, we have notification from Central Transport for a MPDES. Does anybody know exactly what they're doing?
So they are required, because of it being an industrial site, because they discharge waters into the Commonwealth, or discharge stormwater into the Commonwealth, they're required to get a permit and be a permittee, similar to the township, as the MS4 program. They have let their lapse. They have a change of guard quite frequently, but they have renewed and hired a new consultant to come in and do that. But it's not an uncommon thing. Usually the permit cycle is 3 or 5 years, but because there's lapsed, you're seeing it now.
Okay, I thought they were building or
No, this is no, it's not for earth disturbance or any expansion or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Just their normal everyday runoff.
Correct. Correct. And then the other item you have is a thank you letter from Senator Nick Miller. We hosted the Scam Jam here. It was a packed house to the point where the whole audience was full. We had people sitting at the dais pretending they were supervisors watching the presentation. So no, it was a good turnout, a good event, so.
It's sad, but there's people that are scammed every day, and not to just pick on one group, but there's so many elderly people that are scammed by it because they honestly believe the person that's calling, because they just go get the metadata and they know enough about you to make it sound like it's real. And
Just happened to one of my employees yesterday.
yeah, it's very unfortunate.
And I thought it was smarter than that, so.
Very unfortunate. My dad has gotten at least 3 phone calls, and he called me and he said, "Is this right?" No, it is not right. Don't believe it.
My sister thought she was gonna get arrested, and she
Yeah.
told me she thought she was being.
Well, those are the
away.
worst ones, yeah, but I mean,
I know.
some of the other ones are they're saying that, you know, they'll put a lien on your property. They're threatening everything, and it's horrible.
Welcome to today's world.
And you can't even trace it. It says, you know, like if they investigated it, the call's coming from China or Malaysia or something like that, so it's like there's no
What's
way
happening in
to,
the sheriff's department now, I saw in the news
Yep.
too, that they're calling.
yeah, and they can spoof it to make it look like it is the sheriff's department call
I know.
on the caller ID.
All right,
Okay.
back to public comment. It's your turn.
Is he doing that thing with you?
Again, my name is Tom Long, 6224 Grouse Drive. I'd like to make a few remarks about the township manager. I've been in the township and I've served in the planning commission for, 4 years on the zoning hearing board. I've worked with Brent Green in that time. I'm just amazed at how knowledgeable he is, how experienced he is, how articulate he is, how much he knows the rules and regulations and laws. I think the township would be very vulnerable if we were ever to lose his services. And I just want to make sure that, and I know, I worked in large corporations. We did stuff with succession planning, and retention, and things like that, and compensation. I would expect that we've done some benchmarking for salaries to make sure that we're not underpaying him relative to people, township managers, borough managers of similar municipalities. And, I just think Brent does a great job. I bet you all agree. I've gotten emails, copies of emails from him at 11 o'clock, midnight. I don't know when the guy sleeps.
I'm doing it in my secret.
And if he can't sleep during a planning commission meeting, that guy doesn't sleep. Frankly, I'd go so far as to award him a bonus, a significant bonus, seriously. I don't know what he gets paid, but I doubt that it's enough. And I think the board should seriously consider giving him a $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 bonus for all the work he's done for the township. River Central, Agritainment, the new distribution center ordinance. I mean, all the work that's been done in the last year plus, he deserves some recognition for it.
Yes, he does.
And not just a pat in the back. Put some money in his pocket.
Okay.
That's all I have to
Comments
say.
about the
Thank you.
solicitor, Tom?
One thing I can say
I
about Roy,
have to agree with you, everything you said about.
the secretary too, but,
But not the solicitor, okay.
no, I think 98% of lawyers give all the rest of them a bad name.
I didn't mean to say, I didn't want to change the subject, but so well said.
To address what you said, this board knows exactly how good we have it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, we have surplus, so give them some money.
put some cash in his pocket.
Thank you.
All right,
That's very nice.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else under public comment?
Very impressed too.
The only thing I have under public comment is everybody have a really, really, really nice Christmas
Yes.
and a Happy New Year.
And we'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Georgianne made a motion, Chris
Second.
seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go home.
I'm like, tell me.